name is Debbie Dunn-Frederick, and I am a registered dietitian and also a teacher here at Bridgewater College. I am a professor of nutrition and wellness and also family and consumer sciences. Today I'd like to tell you about some research that I have been looking at about how to have a healthy gut. In the latest years, we have known that there were many illnesses that have been caused by one particular organ, and that's what science has been looking at. For example, heart disease or Alzheimer's or diabetes type 2 or metabolic syndrome. But what we found in recent years is that all of these diseases and many others are related to a very complex system. And guess what is the center of that system? It is the gut. Now when we talk about the gut, we're talking about the gastrointestinal tract, our digestive tract. So here you see that there is a gut-brain connection. And I'm just going to tell you about that briefly and then show you how you can actually eat for a healthy gut-brain connection, because we know that there is this signaling back and forth from the gut. So many researchers say that if your gut is healthy, you are healthy. So first off, I just have a picture here of the gastrointestinal tract, the gut as a gatekeeper. And basically the GI tract, it has the important function of digesting our food. But it also has a second important function, as well as the digestion and absorption of food. It also acts as a barrier to help keep any kind of pathogens or harmful toxins out of our system. So it acts as a barrier and as a filter. And so the GI tract starts here in our mouth, and it goes down into the esophagus here, then into the stomach. These contents go into the small intestine, which is all of this here, and then goes into the large intestine, and then is eliminated. That is what we're talking about, the gut. So basically, in this GI tract that you see here, there are all of these microvilli folds, and those folds are where lots of absorption occurs. But there is this vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve is bidirectional. This vagus nerve is a thick nerve cable that carries an extensive range of signals from the brain to the gut. About 90% of the signals go from the brain to the gut and then out to the other organs of the body. So that's why this is often referred to as the brain-gut reaction. It's bidirectional. So we also send signals from our gut into through the vagus nerve. And you can see here that all of this can be affected. So even the motility of the gut and also any of the hormonal responses are affected by the signals that are coming from the vagus nerve. So that's that large spinal nerve. The enteric nervous system is considered the second brain of our body. It's within the gut, and here are these villi and microvilli I was talking about, and this is found inside of our small intestine. Now what's interesting is our small intestine is about 20 feet long when you stretch it all out. And it's only about 1.5 inches thick. But inside of that small intestine, if we did a cross-sectional, you would actually find all these villi. And they are finger-like projections and then have brush borders. When that is completely spread out, that absorption surface area, when all these areas are spread out, that 20 feet of all of this is spread out, it covers 3 football fields or 300 yards. Isn't that amazing? So very, very amazing. And inside of these, are where we actually have, along the whole entire GI tract, we have this enteric nervous system. And this is where all the microbes that we have in our body and the nerve cells in the body are predominantly going to signal this motherboard. And the enteric nervous system is like a motherboard or a circuit system. It has 500 million neurons. So it's involved in all the intestinal function, including that digestive motility, fluid fluxes, and gut hormone immune system. It helps to keep our gut healthy. So in telling you all of this, it's important because scientists look at how can we improve that microbiota? How can we improve all of these microbes that are here in this system? So here are some ways that you can have a very healthy gut. These are some ways to improve the gut. A lot of them are related to foods, but some are related to our habits. But one thing we know is that what research is really showing is that there is lots of influences on emotional and psychological well-being based on how our gut is feeling. Today we see more than 1 out of 200 people diagnosed with some kind of digestive disease. It could be celiac disease, it could be irritable bowel syndrome, it might even be Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. And in preventing these diseases, one thing that helps is to improve that microbiota that we have already in our gut. So here are some things that you can do. And these are things that anybody can really do, not difficult at all. I don't recommend one particular diet or way of eating, but these are just some suggestions that really can fit into any way of eating. So first of all, focus on high fiber plant-based diet. And I have the word flexitarian there. And what that means is that you eat predominantly plant-based, but at times you may choose to have like cheese or milk, or maybe some lean meat of some kind, or chicken or fish, but predominantly plant-based. So that's what a flexitarian is. Not real strict, but flexitarian. And so with that, with a plant-based diet, one of the things we definitely know are cruciferous vegetables are very, very healthy for us. And cruciferous vegetables are those things that are in the cabbage family, like Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cabbage, asparagus. All of those, what they do is they help to build up that microbiota in the enteric system, nervous system. So when we have more of a plant-based diet, it actually can make that microbiota more diverse. Also, you want to include fermented foods, probiotics. Probiotics actually just mean food that has been fermented. So I have a few examples here, and I can give you some others as well. It's naturally found in soybean or tofu. So tofu is one, and this is a firm tofu that you can actually cut up and use in a stir fry with other vegetables. And it is a complete protein, the only plant-based item that is really a complete protein. That means it has all the amino acids, and it will help build strong muscles and helps repair muscles and helps with growth. Also, another probiotic is any kind of kombucha. Kombucha it's just a fermented product, and it has living bacteria. And so it has like a little taste to it. And like this one is a ginger one. You can buy blueberry, all sorts. But that's another thing you can do. This is vanilla yogurt here. Any kind of yogurt is a probiotic because it's been fermented. Kimchi, that's fresh kimchi. That's why a lot of people like eating that. Also, olives are a great one. Anything that's in a brine, like olives. Fresh sauerkraut is another probiotic. So that is something that can help. Research is indicating that it can help. There's divided research about how much it can help with irritable bowel syndrome, but it can certainly help with motility of the gastrointestinal tract, and more research is being done every day about probiotics. We do know that these things can help with prevention of problems down the road, which is really important. Also here you see feed your bacteria. We have all this healthy bacteria in our system, and as a really high hypergenic society now, we don't really get near soil much anymore, and with raw vegetables and things that grow in the soil. So that's the thought, that maybe we don't have as much diversified bacteria in our gut. And so some ways to actually improve that would be to have prebiotic food. And so the prebiotics, they can alter actually the composition or function of the gut microbiota. And some natural ones are found in leeks, but also the asparagus that I just showed you, garlic, and also onions like these spring onions here, any kind of wheat, bananas, and also oats and soybeans. So again, the tofu. So artichokes are another great source of prebiotics naturally. So here is the whole rolled oats. This is an example of one of those prebiotics, and it's just a natural food. And then also one thing I wanted to point out is that getting more fiber is important, and you can actually find the fiber listed underneath the total carbohydrates on a food label. And so here, just for a half a cup of these oats, it gives us 5 grams of fiber. Most people need about 25 grams of fiber or more a day, and most Americans don't get that. So that goes along with the prebiotics. Fiber just pretty much goes through our system unchanged, but having plenty of fiber can help prevent diverticulitis, and it has been shown with a healthy diet to also reduce the risk of colon cancer. So having a high fiber diet is beneficial. It's also been shown to help with controlling those hormones that affect diabetes, like insulin and glucagon. So that's why it's also important. Reducing the consumption of animal products, it kind of goes along with number 1, but ensure animals had or are having a good life. So in other words, like if you know that something's locally grown, and you know that the farmers are grazing their cattle and they're rotating them from one field to the other, if you know the crops don't have a lot of pesticides that are being fed to animals, the chickens, the cows that are eating that to give us milk, that kind of thing. So that's what that means. Also, like that chickens are free range, the animals are free range. This is important because we know that even the stress in animals can affect our microbiota. There's a lot of research in this area. Okay, here are some other things. Notice, limit pseudo foods. Those are the foods that are industrialized or highly processed. So like eating foods that are as close to farm raised as possible. Of course, some things are going to be processed. You have to have that, but if you would be making your food all day long if you had to make your own bread and had to make everything yourself. So the least is try not to have a lot of highly processed foods and beverages. And then the other thing that there's a lot of research now is with intermittent fasting. But this isn't like to fast for 16 or 18 hours and only have 4 hours where you might be able to eat food. This is like just a 12-hour fast, And this is overnight. So like not eating from 8 to 8, for example, or 9 to 9. That 12-hour fast, the nighttime fasting, it really is not found to be beneficial to do it during the day when we need energy to go about our daily activities. But overnight, what that can do is it can actually let the gut rebuild for the night and cleanse itself. And so that's the thought behind that. There's a lot of research in this area that is actually happening now, but we know that there are hormones that are very much related to how healthy our gut is. And there are hormones that relate to if we are feeling full and if we're feeling hungry, like gastrin and leptin in our intestinal tract and stomach. And so if we are not resting it for some period of time, then they can kind of get their signals crossed more or less. And they can tell us that we're hungry even if we're not hungry, and maybe that we're tired. Another thing is to improve the relationship with food. One thing that often happens, and I saw as a dietitian in practice, was that sometimes people who had irritable bowel, Crohn's disease, started to become afraid to even try to eat or eat certain foods because there's a lot of anxiety with it. They knew that they were going to feel horrible afterwards. And it can kind of set us up for disordered eating. So when I say eating well, it doesn't just mean what you're putting on your fork, but it also means how you feel about that food as you're eating. What are you thinking about? How are you feeling? In other words, do you feel guilty about eating this food? Are your habits good, or are they restrictive? Because sometimes things like orthorexia can occur where healthy eating becomes excessive. So as I'm saying, I always say there is not one food that you can eat and it cures everything. We just need a variety of foods in moderation from all of the food groups. And so that's what eating well kind of means, is just the mindfulness and meditation and some of the cognitive behavior therapies are things that people are using to help treat some of this anxiety around foods. You also see here to reduce stress, and definitely cortisol and some of the stress hormones are definitely impacted by the microbiota that we find in our gut. And so by actually having less stressful meal times, sitting down, enjoying them, not rushing through, that kind of thing can really have a big impact, again, on the brain health. So they are constantly signaling to one another, the brain and the gut. And one thing that I found very interesting is that even if that vagus nerve is severed, the second brain, the enteric nervous system, is going to keep working in our gut. So that's pretty fascinating. And so it's going to keep working and telling us, signaling if we're getting full or not. Another thing is addressing emotional, psychological health. Also make quality sleep a top priority. These certainly affect the hormones that are related to weight management. All of those hormones in our intestinal tract that have some kind of relationship. If we're getting full, if we're getting hungry, you may notice if you don't get a lot of sleep that you tend to feel more hungry. And that can be partly related to that the gut needs rest too, your body needs rest, your mind needs rest. So that can be different hours for different people. I know most people need at least 7 to 8 hours from what the research says, but good quality sleep also. And then make physical activity an important part of each day. If you move your body, the research indicates that not only does it help with the GI motility, but it certainly helps with other things as well. It can help with those nerves also telling us, hey, we're getting exercise here and it feels good. It tells our endorphins in the brain, elevating the mood. And then also focusing on maintaining and improving oral health. There's lots of research that tells us that this can reduce, since food goes in through our mouth, that it can be a barrier. With good oral health, it can reduce a lot of the toxins that come in, and also can help prevent things like sleep apnea and some of the heart disease and things like that. Also, spending time in nature. There's actually research that indicates that actually being out in green space, just that there are aromas from the plants that can actually benefit the microbiota in our intestinal tract. So that's pretty cool. And then also make positive social connections a high priority. This is really important. Do you know that there are these blue zones in the world? They're called blue zones, where people live to over 100 years old. These are found along the Mediterranean area. And it's not just because of their diet, but it's because of their social connections. They feel connected, they have interactions, they have purpose. And so even this can affect our microbiota. So in saying all of this, these are just some great guidelines to follow for a healthy gut. I mentioned high fiber. These are just like one of the best ways to get that fiber up is with the black beans. It's one of the highest fiber. You just have to soak them overnight in water, prepare them. I have some lentils here, and those do not have to be soaked, and they are high in fiber, so they're great in soups and on salads. And then blueberries, we always think of antioxidants being in things with vitamin C, and vitamin C is found in strawberries and oranges and grapefruits. But some people with chronic like GERD or maybe irritable bowel syndrome or those kinds of things may find it hard to eat high acid things. But blueberries are very high in vitamin C, and that's an antioxidant which can also fight off those harmful bacteria and also helps prevent cells from becoming damaged. So it has an antioxidant. It's very high in vitamin C too. I have over here, I just wanted to show you that maybe you have this at home, but this is a steam pan. It's really inexpensive to get in one of the kitchen stores, and you just place that in a pan like so, and you fill the bottom of the pan up with about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch of water. And then when you cut this fresh vegetables up, the way to retain the nutrition is just to steam it. Like you can cut these florets off, put them in here, bring it to a boil and turn it down to simmer, and it can just simmer for less than 5 minutes depending on how crisp you like them. With the lid on, will retain all those vitamins and minerals. So just a way to prepare them, simple, or you can put them on a roasting pan, on a cookie sheet for example, just spray it with a vegetable spray, put the vegetables on, and you can roast them with some rosemary or some kind of something that you like as far as a spice, maybe dill. Roast it and then stir it with this rosemary or dill, and you have a great, healthy, nutritious vegetable there. So thank you for joining me today in learning about the healthy gut. Go Eagles, a healthy gut is a happy gut. Thank you for joining us.